In a country of millions, only a privileged few will ever own a true land. Not just square meter in a crowded subdivision, but a rare ground that is secure, flood-free, and built to last generation. Ask yourself, in Makati, in Alabang, in BGC, how many true legacy lots remain? Almost none. But here in Trava, the opportunity still exists. A rare address where prestige is not promised, it is proven. This is not about today. It is about what your children will inherit tomorrow. There comes a moment when success is no longer about what you acquire, but what you preserve and what you pass on. Trava is designed for performance. 550 to 750 square meter lots, generous canvases where your vision rises in stone and glass. But more than homes, there are heirlooms, ground that will carry your name for generations. In the country's prime district, true legacy lots are gone. Four parks, Ayala Alabang, Dasmariñas, all built out. Trava stand as the South's rare exception, 33 hectares were nearly half devoted to green. Phase 2 is now open. Less than 20% of the prime lots remaining and demand has already lifted values by over 80% since launch. Few communities are boom prestigious. Even fewer remain within reach. This is one of them. Prestige is not accidental. It is built by pedigree, by vision, by names that endure. Trava carries the signature of Locsin and partners the nation's architectural legacy. Each detail, each home model crafted with timeless elegance and Filipino modernity. Exclusivity means privacy, but also the quiet assurance that those around you share the same pursuit of permanence. In Trava, you are among equals, executives, entrepreneurs, global Filipinos, family who choose heritage over transience, neighbors who know that owning here is not about trend, but about belonging to a legacy. This is not just a community, this is a circle, and entry is by choice, not by chance. Prestige is meaningless without protection. That is why Trava is built on elevated ground with firmable pavers, detention ponds, and underground system. When the rain falls, it nourishes and it never threatens. Your legacy stays and secure. Today, tomorrow, and long after you are gone. Prestige is a space. 45% of Trava is open green parks, boulevards, tree-lined avenues. This is not density, this is a freedom, the rarest luxury of all. A clubhouse for milestone, courts for youth, pools where families bond. Every space here was designed not only for you, but for your generations who will follow. Opportunities like this vanish. Phase 2 is nearly claimed. Prime lots are few and once taken, gone forever. Enrollment session approaches. Now is the moment to act so your family begins its best years rooted in permanence. Exclusive viewings for the last legacy lots are now being scheduled. We invite you to secure your appointment and see for yourself what generations will remember. One day you will look back with pride and say, "Yes, I gave them the future, and it began here." Come home to prestige, come home to permanence, come home to Trava. Once again, guys, this is Christina Barro from Prestige Properties. And if you're interested and you want to know more details about the property we're offering here in Trava, please don't hesitate to message us directly at 63-917-513-2484. It's my Viber, WhatsApp, and iMessage. See you in my next one.